wear something light. If your dog has light eyes, don't wear yellow because it will bounce off into your dog's eyes when you're standing here looking at it, okay? So you want, something darker would be good if your dog has light eyes. No sandals, no heels, not with Belgians. It's not allowed. We don't allow it with our breed. Something that doesn't make too much noise. Try your shoes out in the store. Take them out on something that, it's harder than carpet to see if it's going to slap going around the ring. Nobody wants to hear your dog stomping up behind their dog, and that's what they're going to hear is your feet paddling around the ring. It's also going to distract your dog. And those of you, I said I wouldn't mention this, but Mo, I'm sorry, I can't help it. For those of you that need them, they now make sport bras. If you need them, buy them, or we'll take up collection if need. I couldn't let it go. I just couldn't do it. It's a pet peeve. I said I want a booth at every dog show that sells full-length mirrors and sport bras because obviously so many people don't have them. Now, obviously I couldn't go change clothes when I can't find my room. It takes me 15 minutes. I get lost every time I leave here. Into a suit just for this. So this is not what I'd normally wear in the ring, obviously, as most of you have seen my suits. A little prettier than this. I'm trying to, anything else that I can help you with after the seminar, I gladly help you with. And the main reason I'm doing this is I get tired of seeing Belgians put at the end of the line in the herding group, and it's so often due to the handling of the dog. They look like amateurs, they're treated like amateurs. Try to act like a professional, look competitive, and you will be competitive. Jimmy Moses wins often, not because he walks in there and goes, he knows what he's doing. The man is a very good handler with his breed. Sorry. He's too tall. Just try to have a little more confidence in the ring. I see so many people fumbling in the ring. Have fun. If you've got a class of 5 dogs, you've got time to have fun with your dog in the ring. If you make it always work in the ring, it's going to hate being shown. Take it in there with a toy and let it play without distracting the dogs ahead of you too much. Just take it back farther on the mat and let it play a few minutes. Each time it goes in the ring, it learns that it's going to play a little bit. It'll start dragging you to the ring. You'll see a lot of professional handlers, not ringside, but their little assistant named Tasha is holding the dog ringside patiently in her grooming smock, and the dog's looking quite bored, and you see she's not playing with the dog. There's a reason for that. When the handler comes up to the ring at the very last second, the dog gets all hyped up and giddy because the handler plays with the dog and not with the assistant. So when the handler runs up there, the dog's real excited, it goes in the ring and shows its heart out. If he was standing there holding it for 5 minutes and doing nothing, the dog would get bored and slowly wane. He just would not show very well. But they run in at the last possible second. They often have somebody take the dog in, then they come in on the dog. That's why. It's not because they're typically late, it's because they want the dog to show its best. It's something most people have never noticed. But look around, you'll see that professional handler off in the corner someplace, just waiting for just the right time and knowing that the judge will let them switch handlers. That's why, to keep the dog pumped. If your dog's like that, have a friend hold it ringside. When I started showing dogs, the first year I went and just watched, never showed a dog before in my life. I watched for 1 year, watched particular handlers that I liked. I didn't know if they were any good because I didn't know anybody. I just liked what they looked like in the ring. And then I noticed that they were winning quite a bit. Well, then I found out they were the top handlers. Watch the other handlers. Don't just assume you know it. Watch them. You wouldn't believe how many little things you can pick up just by sitting ringside and watching one day after the breed. Don't take off. Plan on spending an extra hour at the show Find that handler that's always out there winning and watch and see what they're doing that you're not, that you can pick up from them. You'd be amazed at the tiny little things that they do in the ring. Things that they're watching for, things that they're covering up on their dogs. You know, when they're brushing their dog before the judge goes up to it. Those little things you'll pick up. Your dog might have the same fault. Afterwards, I'd like to have a question and answer session, but I'd like to thank you very much for inviting me to do this. I'm hoping it pays off, and I'll find out tomorrow. Thank you. Good girl. Oh, hello, babe. I use my middle finger, and I go up and through the collar to steady the dog's head. Showing the lips first, and then sometimes they'll ask to see the sides if they've read the standards. Stop. Good. All of them. Every single one. What I see as a UKC judge the most, and I know the judges in here are thinking it right now, I hope he says something about it, and I'm going to. Don't do this. You've seen your dog's teeth all the time. The judges want to see them now. Okay? But you see this a lot, so don't do that. Okay? Every tooth. Just lift the lips. Good. Good girl. Good girl. Aside. Is that you were the one to ask? Stand. I just hold the collar like this to give me something to hang on to. You notice I drop the lead just because it's not important to have it all gathered up and perfect. And it's comfortable. They don't expect you to be. Stop. Just show the bite. Turn the, good girl. All the way back. Both sides. Make sure they can see every tooth. There are judges that are tooth fairies. His name's Pat Donier. And he will stick his finger all the way down. He has Dobermans. And push the tongue down and look at the bite. And I actually told him once that testicles were at the other end. This is not a breed that should, he thinks that they should be sturdier than that. That's not their temperament to be messed with like that by a stranger. Your dogs can be trained for it, but I see no reason for it. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, never mind. You said it. Wait, make sure you take care of the teeth yourself. Because when people look at the teeth, they stick their head there and then
Yep, every time. They've never seen him before. Look at him when you get home if you've never seen it. Also, that's not the time to find out your dog's missing teeth and has a bad bite. Look before you enter. Not before you go, before you enter. If you go, are they supposed to have a big gap back there? And if you don't know, start counting or ask somebody else. Okay, next question. Yes?
Talk a little about the down and back and the approach to the judge on the way back.
That depends on your judge, what they're looking for. Some judges want to see expression when you come back. Some judges want to see the front, actually, when they come back. Some judges want to see a profile. I try to watch ahead of time to see what the judge is really looking for. If you come back to the judge and he walks back, looks around your dog, he's wanting to see the total outline of your dog, how the dog stands in the rear and the front. He wants to see it all. But some judges will just stand up and go, pss, pss, pss. They're just looking at expression. They don't even know there's legs under there. You know, sometimes that's all they want to see is expression on your down and back. So it depends on your judge. Watch the class ahead of you. See what he's looking for. I mean, if he's a collie or Sheltie person, he's probably looking at expression. Not, you know, they don't care if they have legs. They're really looking at the head and the expression. Good girl. Good. But nice and slow on your down and back. Yes, ma'am.
that's actually a good time to show off what you think is good about your
That's right. If your dog has a very short back, a beautiful long neck, I want to buy it. And then I'll show you how to show it off. When you bring it back to the judge, good girl, show off the whole outline. Turn a little bit to the side if your dog's going to hold the stack well, and show off the whole outline rather than just the front. Our breed is a head and outline breed. That's what distinguishes us from other breeds, is their outline. No other breed has this outline. Hopefully that's what they're looking for. A short back, long neck, elegant in head, beautiful expression, sturdy, alert, the whole standard. You can see that with our dog standing here. A Doberman has a particular outline. Some judges are looking for that outline. Some judges just want to see side movement. Some judges want fronts. They don't care if they have rear. Every judge is different. Try to see what that judge is looking for. If the judge backs away, if you come up to it like this, and he walks around and looks at the side, you know he's looking at outline. If he walks all the way around, you know he's looking at the rear, the side, the front, the whole package. So watch the class ahead of you to see what that judge is looking for. But accentuate what your dog has best. If he has a beautiful front and stops dead every time, show that off. Let him walk around. If he's looking at outline, he'll go around and look. He'll be able to see it if your dog has that too. Back. Good girl. Step.
But also the approach to the judge, like almost running over the judge.
Oh yeah. Don't run over the judge. You know how long it takes to replace one? Everybody's screwed up all day long. Would you stand there? She's going to be the judge. And I'll try not to run her into a wall. When you come back, pace yourself. As you turn the corner, spot your judge. Know where they are, so you're drawing that straight line. If your dog single tracks, you want him to see that. If you're over here, the judge can't see that, and then they have to sidestep, and they not always will do that. They might not care so much. You're supposed to be handling the dog. So spot the judge, easy. Good girl. Just before you get there, slow down. Good girl. Step. Good. Okay? I'm far enough away that I'm not in the judge's space. And the judge can actually see what I'm trying to show off. If you get too close, the judge can't see that front. All they can see is head. I would be offended if somebody tried to run over me. Okay, next question. Yes?
When you're standing, you usually stand like diagonally in front of her. Do you recommend standing like right in front of her and bending her from like 3 feet ahead, or do you like standing?
It depends on the dog. So, I mean, watch it. Watch what? Watch it. And I don't like this either, personally. I don't like people baiting with their finger. That's kind of morbid to me. To think your dog is so infatuated with your finger, isn't that kind of scary? But they do. I see that a lot. And they point. And the dog is... Yeah. Good girl. Yeah, they know food, but I lied. It depends on how much room you have in the ring. Good girl, stand. Good girl. If they have a beautiful outline, you show it off. If they have a nice neck and they're trained, you can go all the way to the end of the lead. Good girl. Good girl. Excellent. Oh yeah, you mean like this? Yeah, you see that a lot, and the dog's profile. Of course, you know, depending on the head, it might be a good thing. But I do see people doing this, and the dog's head is turned. Should be straight and arched, slightly down. Good girl. Showing off that arched neck. Good girl. Good. Okay. Next. Yes, ma'am.
Can you demonstrate moving on a tight lead and moving on a loose lead? Like,
How to make it tight and how to make it loose?
yeah.
Okay. Okay. Good girl. I like to have my collar up under the chin, like this, and this way, just on the side of the ear, to help hold the head up. Quinn, up. Good girl. See how she has to pull her head up?
That's a tight lead.
That's a tight lead. Loose leash is not this. This is too loose. Just a belly of slack, like the obedience people like it. Just a slight belly of slack. Easy, good girl. Just a nice loose leash without being too loose. You don't want it to be in the way of a good moving dog.
You have a dog that's continuously shaking his head.
He's not used to the collar, or it's too far behind his ears. His hair might be getting caught in the collar.
I think the hair's getting caught in the ring. That's why I was thinking the loose leaf is better. It doesn't move, except when we're in a lineup with a bunch of other dogs.
Right.
And then he's pulling and the hair's getting caught.
Could be getting caught. You might have to change collars. It might not happen with a nylon collar.
I went to a nylon collar, but it still gets caught in the little
Bring it slightly down in the back then. It could be the hair of the ears is bothering him. Or get one that's not quite as, I like a slightly long without being too tight. One that'll fit over the head very easily. That's a preference just for me, and every dog for me is different, what I prefer to use on that particular dog, how much control I have to have. Somebody asked me earlier on their puppy that had what we call doo-doo nets. And that's this fuzzy stuff behind their ears. I love that so much. I would never trim that off any puppy. I love that look. It's very unique. It doesn't last forever. Keep it. It's quite cute. I really like. They said, well, what if the bell of the ear is too big? Well, that would show the ears off even more, in my opinion, than this. I'd be more attracted to the coat on the sides and that big coat than I would be if this was all trimmed away. Yes?
You know, when the judge is standing and examining the dog and everything, and you said, don't hold on to the collar. Well, my dog won't look straight out, and she'll turn her head.
When the judge is going over the dog, she's asking me, I said earlier not to hold the dog by the collar when the judge is going over. No, you hold the collar, but don't hold it so tight that you're scaring the dog. You're immediately telling the dog something's wrong. Hang on when you do this. Usually this will work, just having control of the head. And I've just got it loose, but I've got control. The dog can't go too far. I've got it by the collar, but it's still loose. But my hand is on the leash and ready. But I wouldn't, with puppies, you might want to just rub their belly, but don't hold them. Rub their belly to relax them. If they need some support, just rub the belly. Good. Yeah. Sure. With a dog that needs a confidence boost, and this is all they need is a belly rub, yeah, get down there. I mean, I had a judge last weekend tell the girl that was with me, she was holding her puppy like this, and he said, Mommy got a death grip on you? And she went, no, and just went like that, and then he continued going over the dog. And then he actually said something that really offended me, and I wish I could have done more about it, but he says, you need to teach this dog to be more like a Belgian. So during pictures, she said, I don't know what you meant. He said, well, it's supposed to have its tail tucked and cowering. He said, that's normally how I see Belgians. Yeah. And that's the opinion of quite a few judges. They're used to being bitten, dogs backing away from them because the dogs aren't properly trained. It's not so much a temperament thing as people taking the dog to the show the first couple times and it's never been to one and it's completely confused as to what's happening. They've got to be taught to be gone over by strangers. Our standard doesn't say they should be affectionate with everybody. Okay? They're not supposed to be. So you have to train that. I mean, they make better show dogs when they're standing there wagging their tails. It doesn't mean it's a correct temperament. I would much prefer that than a shy dog. Are you tired? She's tired. Oh, poor baby. Okay, anything else? Yes. Go ahead.
Is there a preference on where you stand when you're showing the dog, when you're going around the ring, whether the dog is ahead of you?
I prefer, well, it would depend on the dog, I guess, and the movement and what I was trying to accentuate. If it was real restricted in front movement, no, I don't want the dog flying around the ring in front of me because it's just an egg beater then, just going around the ring, I know. So it depends, if the dog has beautiful side movement, sure, you want the dog out in front of you to show off that movement. This is not a racing breed, although you see that a lot in the breed. The faster dog, they think the faster we go, whoever's the fastest wins. No, when you get to the end, you know, everybody will catch up eventually. But nice moderate gait with your dog, what shows off your dog's gait the best? If your dog has beautiful side movement, the legs will converge perfectly in the middle under your dog. They won't extend past the nose. That would be shepherd-like. It should be a nice moderate gait. If it has a nice fluid moderate gait, you want to show it off at a nice moderate speed. Good girl. Show it off. It lasts longer than going real fast. Show off the perfect movement. If a dog has more reach than drive, what will happen? It will sidewind. It has to. Otherwise, its legs will bang against each other. Unless you go at a slower speed. If you go at a slower speed, it won't. If some dogs, depending on their structure, will have to move at a very fast pace in order to look their best. You have to check your own dog. I mean, I can't tell you how your dog will move best. I have to see it, and we have to try many different ways. Often I can stand back and look at a dog and go, well, it's a little straight in front, so he has to go a little slow coming back to the judge and a little faster going away. And that's what you need to check on. It's not one speed down and back. Sometimes it's fast going away. If he tends to move a little wide in the rear, the little faster will draw the rear in. Coming back to the judge, you may need to go slow to keep the legs from doing this. We've all seen that. So you just have to check your own pace of your own dog and try every single speed. When I take a dog for the first time, I say start it off at a walk and then go as fast as you possibly can by the time you get to the end, slowly building up speed. Then I can see which gait is the best at what speed. That's what you need to do at home with your own dogs. Have somebody watch you or have somebody else move the dog so you can see it. Okay? Next. Yes?
Dogs that rack back, when you stack them, they rack back.
Right.
And they won't pull back forward.
With food or toy, either one. Try just relaxing the dog either with your hand or just talking to them. A lot of dogs, she's talking about dogs pulling back on the stack. It's because they're not comfortable with being stacked. You need to make it more fun. Good girl. Doing this will also roach a dog's back, so you have to be kind of careful. Good girl. Good girl. You can see how that'll work? So you got to be careful. A dog that's a little bit nervous, and often I see a roach back on a dog that's underweight. When that dog's in good weight, it'll have a perfectly level top line. So remember that. I mean, it's kind of just an arch, and the more weight you put to it brings it down. So don't say my dog's got a roachy top line just when it's thin, because it may have a perfectly level top line when it's in good weight. But a dog that's rocking back just needs some reassurance in some way or another. He's staring at. Either use the food, just try talking to it. And when your dog's moving, you can talk to your dog. You know, if it seems to be nervous, going around corners, or when you get to the end of the pattern, don't just jerk your dog off its feet like this. Talk to it. Let it know what you're doing. Good girl. Just saying anything to them will get your dog's attention and get them to turn their head. What else? All done? Yes?
When this training that you do with her, do you start that at an early age?
I've only had her since the middle of March.
So you didn't breed her, she's not yours?
No, she's not mine. I just handle her.
Okay.
Yeah, she's not mine. So,
Whenever you can start training.
yeah, I didn't.
Have any training before you got her?
She'd been shown before I had her, but no commands like I teach them. You know, just a
And how long does it typically take?
week. I mean, everything's just little bits and pieces, but like you saw how fast that dog was getting I mean, somebody told him to sit. but typically, back, good girl. I mean, that's very easy to teach. If your dog's not paying attention, not getting it, if you run right into the dog's chest, it has no choice. You'll either fall and it'll back up. I guarantee you it'll back up. Back. Good. Good. Back. Good girl. That's all you'd have to do with your dog to teach that. And then step. And if it won't step, that's what you have the leash for. Good. Step, 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 step. And enticing it towards the food to bring it to you. And back is just a game. Back. Good girl. Back. Good girl. Side.